Yeah, questions and answer time now. So please just raise your hand or starting to speak. I think Lawrence, you had a question for Alexander. Do you want to pose it or should I read it? Yeah. Two questions actually.
Yeah. The first one actually is, Mr. Beschel, thank you very much. Really interesting info, first of all. The thing I would like to know, you were talking about that there are trials going on using the methanol just as it is in combustion engines. And the other way would be, of course, to go further with the synthesis to synthesize kerosene, for example, or diesel. Do you see this as a viable way, since the hydrogen demand is way higher, right, for kerosene and for... So what's our plan B, so to speak, if methanol is not working?
Well, first, I think we have to differentiate between the direct use of e-methanol or even e-ammonia, as I have mentioned as well, in some mobility areas, especially for shipping and maritime. Because as you're aware, they are utilizing some engines which can burn nearly everything. This is the so to say easier part. The other thing is if e-fuels, kerosene for aviation, or also electric diesel, so to say, will be used. Yes, of course, this needs an additional process step. This leads to higher costs. But on the other hand, it will be an option where especially the so-called e-fuel alliance is heavily working on as an well, they do not want to call it an intermediate technology, but at the end of the day it is. Because if you're looking on the current petrol companies like OMV, like others, they have the need to provide a certain amount of their fuels as green fuels. And the possibilities for production of biofuels is limited. So they will need everything to reach the goals for which they have for their green fuel percentage. So they will utilize biofuels, they will utilize e-fuels, and so on and so on. The same applies for the car manufacturers. Also, they have some limits for their fleets, for their overall global fleets. So as I mentioned, there will be no one technology path. Even if e-diesel and e-kerosene is higher from the cost side, but for aviation, e-kerosene is currently more or less the only technological way for decarbonizing, especially large air carriers and long distance flights.
Okay.
The other topic what you raised in the chat is the price level. Well, I can give you some indications at least. So the current price level of e-methanol is highly depending again on the production cost of the hydrogen on the one side, which I have explained, and the cost of CO2. And here it depends if you need to buy some CO2 or if you maybe do have anyhow some CO2 where you are happy to utilize instead of wasting. So the current pricing level for such an e-methanol is between 800 and 1,500, 1,600 US dollars per ton. So this is comparatively high to methanol, which is to gray methanol, which is around 400 US dollars per ton or something like that. But here applies the same like for hydrogen. So the projections are that up to 2030, 2035, 2040 maybe, the price for e-methanol can go down to 600, 500 US dollars per ton. And then you are already very near the gray hydrogen, the gray methanol pricing. And this will go up on the other side by additional fees, additional imposed measures, and so on and so on. So the level playing field will be reached within the next 10, 15 years, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
I'm on mute. Perfect. Thank you very much. Any further questions for the two presenters at this point? You can also start speaking if you want.
Hello,
Andre, yeah.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Hi.
Good. Well, very interesting presentations and a lot of things I learned today. Actually, I want to introduce myself very quickly. I'm coming from Montenegro, and I work for the Environmental Protection Fund of Montenegro, which was established a couple of years ago. And even if we know that here in the region, in the Balkans, the eco funds, for example, in Slovenia, exist since 1991, and some of the funds have done a lot of work in their respective countries. Here we are very young, and we are just now getting some financing for the renewable projects or energy efficiency and environmental protection projects. One question from Mr. Alexander regarding the hydrogen. When can we expect that we can use hydrogen in the batteries for electrical vehicles? Is that something that is achievable, and when can we expect that? Because current batteries that are being used, in my own opinion, they're not, let's say, something that we can rely on for a longer period of time. So, and a lot of people think that the hydrogen batteries should be sustainable solution for the electrical vehicles.
So what you're meaning, if I understand it right, is utilizing hydrogen for mobility, and the technology there is utilizing the hydrogen to power fuel cells, then to drive the electric motors. Yes. The issue there is that currently let's put it the other way around. For private transportation, private cars, this will be not the option number one, definitely not. For private transportation, electricity powered cars with standard lithium batteries will be the option number one. That's very clear, and this will be the future everywhere. The question rather is, and the use case for hydrogen is rather trucks, large distances, heavy weights, buses, things like that. And also here, it's a little bit easier with the necessary required infrastructure and so on. So the one thing is the infrastructure were to have the necessary filling stations for hydrogen. The other thing, so this very soon is viable if you're thinking, for instance, for public transportation companies. Public transportation companies normally have their own filling station within the city if they are serving only one city, for instance. So this is easy. So there you have to set up only one filling station, full stop. For large trucks going over large distances. So there are already activities ongoing that on the transit routes from South Europe to Northern Europe and so on, along the highways, there will be in the next few years the required hydrogen filling stations. It will be a problem in the areas. And here the question is how the logistics is organized, utilizing these hydrogen trucks for larger distances, and then individual smaller trucks with electricity powered for the last mile, so to say. Yeah? It depends really on the use case. What is a little bit currently still a disadvantage is that there are not very much models of fuel-based trucks and buses available. But this again is a question of the requirements, and what we have seen already in several cities which are running a fleet of diesel buses, saying, no, we want to replace our diesel buses by something climate friendly because we have set up some climate goals for our cities. We are interested in that, and thus going to Mercedes, MAN, or the large bus manufacturers and saying, okay, I want to buy 500 buses, fuel cell buses. When can you deliver it? And this is already something where also the car manufacturers are very willing to discuss about because they see the need. So this will change quite soon, I'm quite sure. And we have already some cities which are already starting with that, going into that direction, definitely. So really, as I mentioned, individual transportation, I don't see very much the application of hydrogen. Public transportation, buses especially, and trucks, large distance traffic, this will start very soon, and especially in public transportation, we have a lot of projects already which are upcoming.
That is good. That is actually promising, and I think the trucks and public transportation using.
Of course, yeah, and because this is something where on the one hand, also political support is available because every mayor is interested in having a green city, of course, yeah, because this is the question of living quality, and on the other hand, for such projects, also a lot of funding on EU level is available. Really, a lot of funding. It's unbelievable how much money is available.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Super. Thank you very much. Any further questions or comments or ideas or anything else? Yeah, wonderful. If something, yeah, Wolfgang.
I would have a question to Mohor. Mohor, are you still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to ask you, you have presented the two major business models that Interenergo KELAG is providing, which is the fixed price model and the variable. Can you further outline what the variable pricing model is dependent on, and if the project goes over very many years, yeah, and I know that Salonit has a contract for 25 years. How can you make sure that you keep, or how do you actually access the risks for this very long period? We know today, and maybe in the coming months, it's not a problem because every electricity purchase on the market is very expensive, yeah, extremely expensive. So that's easy. But what if it comes down again?
Yeah, for fixed price, there is not a lot of risks for us. We calculate our business case and that's it. And we know for 25 years what our incomes will be. For this variable part, here we are prepared to take risks of changes in the market. And we all know that, yeah, the current prices are really high, but KELAG also is a part of RWE group. So all the investments that KELAG and from KELAG on also then Interenergo, all the business cases and all the decisions for our investments are every time long-term decisions are every time made on long-term predictions of RWE prices, long-term prices. So here also we put the prices that RWE thinks will be in the future in next 25 30 years, and yeah, we are then taking this risk. But even here, all these predictions now after a few years, we think that the energy prices won't be as low as they were in the past, but all these high peaks, they will somehow, in a few years, they will be down on more competitive and on more normal price levels.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are willing to take this risk.
Yeah, and you're backed by large companies in the background, like RWE, which is one example. Yeah, for
and also our some kind, let's say, guarantee is also the PV system on their roof, on our customers' roof. So that means even in these contracts, they are somehow secured. If I know if something goes wrong with our company, if let's say we would go in bankruptcy, left with the guarantee with the PV system on their roof, for which they didn't pay any money. So this is really secure business cooperation for our clients.
Yeah, maybe the second question very quickly. There is a lot of money available, in supporting this road to green. There was just Alexander Peschel mentioned a lot of European money for municipalities, but also private money. I know there is funds in Austria, there is funds in Slovenia, there is upcoming funds in Croatia, I think, but there seem to be some states that impose to the end customer that they do the project by themselves. You had several arguments. Why should a photovoltaic project be financed by a company like Interenergo and not by the industry? In that case, whatever it is, paper or cement or lime. We have from the lime industry here, and it seems that Croatia, for instance, is imposing this. They must invest themselves. Any idea how this can be changed?
Yeah, no, but this was a problem in the past for all ESCO companies, that when you were applying for grants, you were not able to apply for grants or non-refundables if in the name of another company. Let's say the ESCO company were not able to get the grants for the same project as I know the industry, if they would invest their own money, would get. But this changed because all the authorities also recognized that, especially in Balkans, where this is quite new business case, business model, that this is now one of the business models, and they recognize this, and now it's almost on all tenders where you are able to get non-refundables, you are also able to get these non-refundables with ESCO business model. So we don't see this was the problem in the past, but now with the new tenders coming up, this is not a problem anymore. On the other hand, this is for non-refundables. On the other hand, yes, as you mentioned, there's really a lot of money available. Also, let's say in EcoSclat in Slovenia, they are offering the loan for 1.5% of interest rate. This is really cheap loan for green investments. But still, as I mentioned in my presentation, there is still a lot of advantages if you are partnering up with the experts from the industry.
Mm-hmm. So you would say
from designing on to implementation phase, and especially we see a lot of advantages from our side or from energy companies in operational phase, because then usually not only in PV systems, also we have also district heating systems, also the boiler rooms in industry, in multi-apartment buildings. There is always like that when you implement it, you can build it. It's with high quality building, but at the end, they are always taking care of these energy systems. I know for the first 2-3 months when everything is interesting, but then they somehow, if their step it's not really dedicated to this part, then they somehow forget for these systems, and then the efficiency and the production is not as high as it should be, and then the savings are not achieved as they were planned.
Thank you very much.